Bonjour, and welcome to the Good Life Café. My name is Chef Josephine, and I am the chef and the owner of the Good Life. Before I tell you what is on the menu for tonight, I want to tell you about my very best friend, Jenna. When she was 2, 3, and 4 years old, she spent her days in her parents' candy store and luncheonette. She would visit with the people who came in every day, going from seat to seat and asking questions like, "Can I sing you a song? Can I tell you a story? Maybe I could draw you a picture." And the answer was always, oui, oui, and oui. And now, it is 60 years later. Oh, the time flies. And what does she want to do now? That's right, she wants to tell you a story, sing you a song, and maybe even dance a little dance. You see, in her dreams, Jenna always wanted to be on Broadway. Oh, she does not act, no, not on the stage. And she does not sing, except in the shower. And she dances a little bit, but nowhere near the Broadway. And not too long ago, she started to think about shifting, changing, and moving on in her life. I think that happened when she became a grandmama for the first time. Oh, she had always loved the babies, but having her very own grandson, Henri, was a wonderful surprise and change. 10 years before, she had gone through another major change when she decided to go from being single to finding the man of her dreams. And she did. And now she is going through another shift. And she had the idea for this one morning in her quiet time, in her meditation. She thought, I could do a show, a one-woman show. And I could play all the parts, complete with the costumes. But I have to tell you what happened many years ago. She had a similar idea for a show, and she acted impulsively, and she did not prepare very well, and it didn't go the way she wanted. And she considered it a failure, and she said to herself, "No more, I failed, I quit." And she did not get up in front of people for a very long time. And that brings us to tonight. So, along with my 3 best friends, we have prepared for you an assortment of stories for your learning and for your entertainment. We will be your hostesses for tonight. Tonight is about you. It's about you becoming more of who you want to be, and you realizing more of who you really are. So let me ask you some questions. What do you want in your life? How do you say, what are you hungry for? Let's pretend for tonight that your life is like being at a great restaurant. Everything you want is on the menu. Anything you need is on the menu. All you have to do is come in, sit down, and order. And what stops you from coming in? What stops you from ordering? And what stops you from eating and enjoying? Here's what I think. It is the story you tell yourself that stops you. I know, you think it is the circumstance. I know, you think it is your history of what happened when you were 4 years old or 40 years old. But it is the story you tell yourself about what happens that stops you. Consider this. Have you seen the cooking show on the television called Chopped? Oh, I love this show. It is my favorite. Here's how it goes. There are 4 chefs, and they are each given a mystery basket. And in the basket are 3 or 4 ingredients. And they are unusual, and they don't go together very well. And they must use everything in the basket, along with what is in the pantry and the fridge, in order to transform it into a delicious dish in a given amount of time. So, the timer goes off, and voila, everything starts to change. Partly it is the circumstance, because for one, the blender, it breaks, and for another, the butter burns. But it is more importantly what they tell themselves in their head that makes the difference. One is saying, "Oh, I can do this. I don't know what this ingredient is, but I figure it out, and my blender is broken, but I do something else, and I stay focused, I stay calm, I finish." This is the positive self-talk. But another person, they start to panic right away. It hasn't even started. Oh, this is too difficult. I cannot do this. I don't know what this ingredient is. How am I going to cook with it? And my mother burned. Oh, no, I will never feel. I'm going to be shocked. I know it. I'm going to be shocked. And this is the negative self-talk. Some of you are familiar with this kind of talking. And the truth is we all know this kind of talking where we talk ourselves out of what it is we want. So, at the end of the 20 minutes, each chef must show the judges what they have made, and they will be critiqued on the days. Everything that has happened in your life is in their basket. All those facts are your mystery ingredients, and you must use them all in some way. And they may be unusual and not go together very well, but you must use them in some way. All the rest of the ingredients are up to you. Just like the chefs that had the pantry and the fridge to get what they needed in order to transform those ingredients, those mystery ingredients, into a delicious dish, so can you transform your life with your choices. Jenna is going to tell you about a very important ingredient, hope. Once there was a silly old ant, thought he'd move a rubber tree plant. Well, everyone knows an ant can't move a rubber tree plant, but he had high hopes. He had high hopes. Hope. Webster says hope is a feeling that what is wanted will likely happen. Desire accompanied by expectation. Dr. Bernie Siegel wrote a groundbreaking bestseller called Love, Medicine, and Miracles. And in it he describes how he found that people needed, his patients, people with cancer, needed hope and purpose in order to live life to its fullest, no matter how much time they had left. As a medical doctor, specializing in the treatment of people with cancer, he was a pioneer in the movement that recognized how powerful the body-mind connection is. And during his career, he demonstrated the necessity of love and compassion as a basis for good medicine. And then there's Dr. Lawrence Lashon, a psychotherapist, who started working at first in a hospital with terminally ill cancer patients. He used traditional therapy, which asked the question, what's wrong with you and how do we fix it? That looks at the past in order to find the answers. And in his first 10 years of practice, 100% of his patients died. He decided to make some changes. So he changed the questions and he asked, what's right with you? What kind of a life would you create for yourself where you're glad to get up in the morning and glad to go to bed at night? Now he was dealing with the present and moving forward. Don't worry about what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and do that. Because what the world needs are people who have come alive. Those are the words of Howard Thurman, great educator. So Dr. Siegel and Dr. LaShawn both found that when you do something for yourself, just to feel happy and satisfied, it wakes up your immune system. And it makes you come more alive. Both of these doctors dedicated their lives to helping patients find hope, purpose, passion, regardless of their prognosis. Dr. LaShawn's study showed that 70% of people with cancer also had a history of hopelessness. That these people said they had lived their lives according to what others thought they should be or do. Most of them didn't know what their purpose was. They had put it aside, hidden it away, forgotten it. They said they didn't have enough time or energy for themselves after giving everything to others. So if you haven't got a moment for yourself, what does that say? When you love somebody, don't you give them attention? Don't you give them respect? Well, when you give these things to yourself in the form of doing what you love to do, well, then all of you will get healthier. I'm not talking about another full-time job. I'm talking about a few minutes a day or a few hours a week when you're glad to get up in the morning and happy to go to bed at night feeling a good tired. Then you'll have more energy for yourself and others. Viva is going to tell you next that it takes courage. No, she's not going to tell you that next. What is she going to tell you? Making choices. Oh, yeah. Viva's going to tell you about making choices. Just the right choices for you. When skies are going to clear up, put on a happy face. Brush off the clouds and cheer up. Put on a happy face and spread sunshine all over the place. Just put on a happy face. I've known Mary Alice for over 15 years. And soon after having a stroke, she needed to go live in the nearby nursing home. She wasn't happy about it. I wouldn't have been either. One day she called me and she said, I don't like it here. I don't like the activities. Excuse me? She said, I don't like the activities. Can you come and do that thing you do in front of people? I said, I don't think so. I don't want to do that. Not there. I'll come and see you. I want to come see you. I don't want to come see everybody. So the next day, the recreation director called me and she said, Mary Alice said you'd be happy to come and do something for us. What? All right, I'm free on Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock. I'll come, I'll do something. So that first day I'm getting ready, I put on my most comfortable pants, the pink ones. And then I grabbed my CD with the swing music. And I pretended I was Richard Simmons. I was going to go dancing with the oldies. So I jumped in my car and I drove to the nursing home and I got there and I found the room and I looked around and all I saw were wheelchairs, walkers, and white hair. Oh my God, what am I going to do? It doesn't look like they're getting up anytime soon and dancing. All right, what do I know how to do? What do I know? I know how to talk. Oh, hello, it's nice to meet you. I got music. I'll put the music on. What do I know how to improvise. Okay, let's everybody pretend we're picking apples and put them in the basket. There we go. Oh, let's drive the car. We're driving the car, tooting the horn, washing the clothes. Ah, what a sight we were. We were moving, and in our own way, we were dancing. We had a ball. And then I left, and I got out to my car, and I just sat there. I was overwhelmed with their situation, with their lack of movement. See, for me, not being able to move meant I didn't have a lot of choices. And I realized, I thought, they don't have a lot of choices anymore. They don't have a choice of who they eat with, or when they shower, or who their roommate is. And I got sad. Oh, not for them, for myself, because I still had a lot of choices to make, and I wasn't making the best choices that were going to take me in the direction of my hopes and dreams. So you know what I think? I'm going to tell you. I think you gotta do something. It doesn't have to be the right thing. It doesn't have to be the perfect thing. It doesn't have to be the best thing. If you keep doing what you're doing, though, you're gonna keep getting what you're getting. Do you remember records? They had grooves in them. And if you put the needle down in the groove, you got music. But if you put the needle down in a rut, you got the same thing over and over and over again. One more time. Are you in a groove or are you in a rut? What is it that you always wanted to do? Or what is it that you thought about doing last week and you already talked yourself out of it? You see, I got this really loud voice in my head sometimes. And it says to me, who do you think you are? You can't do that. Now, if I listened to that voice, I'd be sitting back in the corner in the dark for a long time. But fortunately for me, I got another voice that says, I love being up in front of an audience. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. So what is your voice saying to you? Yeah, like the one that just said, what voice is she talking about? Maybe it says, you're too something, you're too lazy. Maybe it says you're not enough, you're not good enough or smart enough. You gotta learn how to listen to that negative self-talk so you can ignore it and make room for all the good stuff that you could be telling yourself. Courage, courage. We're going to talk about courage now. Not me. I'm not going to talk about courage. That's not my area. But Golda's going to talk about courage. Is this the little girl I carry? Is this the little boy at play? I don't remember growing older. When did they? When did she grow to be a beauty? When did he get to be so tall? It was such a long time ago, but I remember it like it was yesterday. My boy Joshua. Like, what a boy he was. He was an easy child, thank God. But sometimes the choices that I had to make, they weren't so easy. When he was in school, his school every year, they had a sleepover in January, and they called it a snowver night. You know, where you go sledding and it snowed, and then you come in and they have the hot chocolate with the little marshmallows on it. But he never wanted to go because he didn't like sleeping anywhere but in his bed, in his room, next to mine. So this one particular year, when he was 9 years old, he said, maybe I'd be interested in going. Okay, good. But then he said he was afraid. Because what if he went? And what if he cried? And what if everybody laughed at him? And what if he felt bad? And what if... I said, listen, you don't have to go. The snowball night is optional. There's only one rule. If you go, you gotta stay. You go, you stay. Finally, he decided to sign up. And that Thursday morning of the big night, oh, I can see him now. He had a sleeping bag under one arm. He had a baseball cap on his head. He had a big smile on his face, oh, that handsome face. And he was waving goodbye. And that night at 8:30, the phone rang. Mom, you gotta come and get me, Mom. I can't stay here. You gotta come and get me. No, Joshua, I'm not coming. You can do this. Listen, I'm going to leave the phone on the loud ring. I'm going to leave the door open to my room so I could hear it. And you can call me anytime you want tonight. I'm here for you, blah, blah, blah. Oh, please, Mom, please come and get me, please. No, I'm not coming, Joshua. Okay, Mom. I love you. And I love you too. And I got off the phone, and I started to cry. What did I do to my baby? I abandoned him. Was he going to hate me? Was he going to need the therapy? So then I called my friend who'd raised 3 boys, and she told me just what I wanted to hear. She said, you did the right thing. Don't worry. Someday he's going to thank you. Then she said, I'm going to be here all night. I'll leave the phone on. Half an hour later, the phone rings again. Please, Mom, please come and get me. Please, I can't stay here. No, Joshua, one rule. You go, you stay. I'll do it next time, Mom. I promise I'll do it next time. No, Joshua, if you can do it next time, you can do it this time. You're okay, my sweetheart. Good night. And then finally I fell asleep. And I didn't wake up until the next morning when the phone rang. Good morning, Mom. We're having waffles for breakfast. Thanks for letting me stay. And that was that. So now, I wonder who was here before like this. You should pick up after them stuff, okay? Again over here, like over before. Okay. So Chef, you remember the French accent. She's coming out again, and she's going to give you a couple more cooking tips. You can always use.
I love Paris in the fall. I love Paris in the winter when it drizzles. I love Paris in the summer when it sizzles. I love Paris. I love Paris. I love Paris. Oh, I hope you are having a good time.
We prepared for you these stories to have here, but also to take home with you to nibble on. To remind you that, to take care of yourself, to love yourself. Oh, lighten up, have a good time, huh? And to remember that there are many perspectives and just as many possibilities. And not to quit so fast when things get tough. You don't want to shop yourself before you get to the next round. Okay, so now we have choices to make. You know, the ingredients alone, that's not enough. In cooking, when we want to add flavor, we use the seasonings, the herbs and the spices. Because we are always looking to find the balance. So sometimes there's too much sweetness. Oh yes, there can be too much sweetness. When we are sweet all the time, when we're saying yes, even when we should say no, that's not real. That's not real sweetness. That's like saccharin. The real sweetness is like the red, juicy, plump strawberries. Oh, oh, I think I need something to drink, because sometimes when something is too dry, like my house right now, we need the moisture. In the cooking, we add the cream. It was the very best of butter. Oh, don't get me. Oh. And in life, we add the juicy relationships and exciting activities in order to make it richer. We need to decide what we need, what to include and how much, and what not to use, even though it's available, in order to maintain the balance as best we can. So, oh yes, let's prepare a tasty life the way we prepare a tasty meal. Voila. Next, please do tell me. What?
I have to know what you want.
Of course you do. Okay, so Jenna, what we learned from Jenna is that you have to know what you want before you can get it.
It had to be you.
It was 10 years ago and I was feeling restless, feeling like I was in a rut. I decided I need to take some time off to figure out what I wanted to do next. So I planned a stay-at-home vacation, a staycation. And I would do things to pamper myself, like walks at the Arboretum and massages and as many movie matinees as I wanted. At the last minute, I made an appointment with a life coach. And I asked her, I said to her, you know, I want to jumpstart my speaking business, but I don't know what to do next. Maybe you can help me. So the first question she asked me was, what do you want in your life? Well, I knew what I was going to tell her. I want a successful speaking career. But instead, what came out of my mouth was, I want a partner. I'll send out one more batch of messages because I was willing to do whatever it took to find the man of my dreams. I got one reply back. Screen name, easygoing. It was one line in his profile that had caught my eye. It said, I always wanted to learn how to ballroom dance, but I never had a partner. Long story short, 3 weeks later, easygoing, now known as Ed, moved his stuff and himself into the man's room. It was just short of 9 months and I had found my match. That's not the end of the story, but I want Viva to tell you the rest.
I got you under my skin. I got you deep in the heart of things. Deep in the heart of things. I got you under my skin.
So Jenna didn't tell you the other big concern she had going on at the time. It was a skin condition called psoriasis. Her father had had it, her grandfather had had it too. And she was, it was a big part of why she didn't feel like she could meet a man. And it also was part of her hesitation of getting up and speaking in front of groups. Her self-consciousness seemed insurmountable and kept her from taking the next steps. So why am I telling you this when she didn't? Because somebody had to tell you. And because everybody has something that seems insurmountable. Some of you may be self-conscious about your height or your weight or your hairdo. For others, it might be your level of education or how much money you have, or maybe it's some part of your history. Listen, if you're human, you got something that you can pull out of your pocket at the drop of a hat and use as an excuse as to why you can't do what it is that you want to do. And for Jenna, it was the psoriasis. On their first real date, Ed took her red rough hand in his, and he said, "Don't worry about this. It's nothing. I had a similar condition as a kid, and I know what it's like. It doesn't bother me, and it doesn't matter." Were those not the most kindest words you've ever heard in your life? I'm telling you this because when you acknowledge what you're afraid of, you let the air out of the balloon. When that critical self-talk has more power over you when you keep it in the dark. Now I know that you're wondering what Eleanor Roosevelt had to say about all this, aren't you? I thought so. She said you must do the thing you think you cannot do. You must face your fear. Now, courage, the word courage comes from the French word for heart. I checked with Chef. When you act with courage, you allow your heart to lead. Oh, the mind that makes up all the fear can come along for the ride, but it's not in charge anymore. Oh no, the heart is. Sometimes you think you don't have a choice. Golda is going to tell you that you always do. You just might not like it.
To life, l'chaim, 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 to life, la 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 la, ya da da da, hi 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 hi, drink l'chaim, to life, l'chaim. And if our good fortune never comes, here's to whatever comes, drink l'chaim, to life, l'chaim.
If you were a little closer, I could see you a little better. It's not so easy like it used to be, but it's all right. What really matters is what's in here. The body is the body. It gets old, it gets sick sometimes, it hurts a little here, it hurts a little there. But what really matters is what's in here. It's about letting go and opening up and having love, to give it and to receive it. And it's not better to give than to receive. You got to do both in order to have the balance. You understand? Verstehen? So let me look. How else can I tell you? It's about looking beyond the body into what's inside of yourself and others. So I remember once, this was such a long time, it was before I had children. And I needed to be taken care of a young woman with cerebral palsy. So her speech wasn't so easy to understand, and she was in a wheelchair. And we were at this rugged outdoor retreat, and I needed to do everything for her. I needed to take care of her for 6 days and for 6 nights every day. I had to bathe her, I had to feed her, I had to get her ready for the bed and write down her notes, everything. So at the end of the 6 days, you can imagine, I was beside myself with impatience and aggravation. I was tired and dirty, and I just wanted to go home. But there was nobody else there to be doing for her what I was doing. So what happened the last night, how do you say it these days? I lost it. And I said, Ben, I'm leaving. You get yourself undressed and you get yourself ready for the bed. And I left the cabin and I ran like the wind out to the wooded area, and I sat down and I cried. cried and I cried and I was feeling so lonely. I was feeling taken for granted, and I just plain upset. I was so exhausted. And I went on with the crying like that for 2 hours more. And then finally I was done, and I went back into the cabin. And of course, what did I see? Ben. She was sitting in the same place, in the wheelchair. Where was she going to go? And I walked into the cabin there and with my head down a little bit, if you know what I mean. And I pulled up a chair next to her and I said, "Oh, Gwen, I'm so sorry. I couldn't take it anymore. I mean, it was enough already. I didn't have any time to myself. I didn't have anybody helping me. And I had to be with you too much." And Gwen, oh, God bless her, she looked at me for such a long minute, and then she said, "I had to be with you too." She had reminded me that she wasn't just a body for me to take care of. She was a person like me. She had feelings, she had needs. And then we started to laugh at ourselves for being so human. And the rest of the night we talked, we laughed, we took pictures. Oh, it was such a night. And I'll never forget it. So what I want you to remember, that we shouldn't forget that how we are affects everybody and everything around us. And we always have a choice on how to be. And that's that. Oh, so maybe you know, maybe you don't. Tonight is Rosh Hashanah. It's the Jewish New Year. And what we say to each other in that holiday is we say, "May you be inscribed in the book of life for another year." And so from me to you, all of you, that's my wish. Just because she didn't say who was coming next does not mean it was the end. I thought you could figure that out on your own. Huh? Okay, so wait. I'm gonna sing my little song. I like this one, okay? Zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, oh my, what a wonderful day. Oh, you get the wrong back step again. You're so confused with All right, let me get back to Chef. Bonjour. I enjoy the cooking, but my favorite part is the eating. How we get from what we are given, remember your mystery basket, to the dessert, the ooh la la part, is through action. Action is everything. I must admit, I used to be a know-it-all. Yes, it's true. But knowing where the flour and the milk and the eggs were in the kitchen, it did not put a beautiful souffle on my table. No. I had to learn something, and then I had to do something in order to have that beautiful souffle. So, Albert Einstein, you remember Albert? He said, nothing happens until something moves. He was talking about the atoms and the molecules. Yes, sir. But he was also talking about the mixing the ingredients. And he was talking about dancing with the oldies at the nursing home. And he was talking about you. making good choices and taking action in your life. Writing the menu is not the same as preparing the meal. And reading the menu is very, very different than eating the meal. Voila! Viva! She told me she loves you. I just said I started. She said she loves you. And she wants to tell you a story about taking action.
Climb every mountain, every stream, follow every rainbow until you find your dream. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow. Do.
Her name was Ann Clark, and she ran 5 miles every day, and she taught fitness classes at the Y. So, some of you were thinking that's no big deal. And it isn't, except Ann was 87 years old at the time. When she retired as a school teacher at 62, she had arthritis, she had bursitis, and she was depressed. She said, I don't know how much longer I have to live, but I don't want to live it feeling like this. She said, you know, the only exercise I get is doing vacuuming in my living room. Maybe I should try something else. Oh, she told me that for a long time. And then one day she signed up for a walking class at the Y. And she loved it. So when it finished, she signed up for the next one, and the next one. And she walked for over a year before she started jogging. She started jogging short races and then longer races. And then she started running, and she started running marathons, and she held records in marathons in her age group, and her picture was on the cover of Runner's World magazine. And Ann, she didn't listen to the voice in her heart that said, you're too old, you're too sick, you can't do that. No, she was exceptional. She was an exception. She was exceptional in her commitment to herself and not quitting when it got hard. She did all the physical exercise, but more importantly, she outran the attitudes that would limit her. And Ann isn't any different than anyone sitting here tonight. Well, maybe she was a little older, let me see. No. She changed her mind. So can you. She listened to her positive self. So can you. She took one step at a time, literally. So can you. When Ann died at 96, her memorial service was overflowing with people whom she had inspired. And when her son got done with the eulogy, he invited everyone downstairs to the church basement for refreshments. He told us that when we got there, we would see a long table with all of her trophies, her medals, and her ribbons. And he invited each of us to take one home as a memento. Here's mine. I wear it to remind me to take action. So what would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail? That's the question posed by Dr. Robert Schuller. And that's an invitation for you to let go of the negative, clear the way, so you can move forward. Jenna's coming out, so don't think it's the end of anything, okay? Don't do that again. Jenna's coming out, she's going to tie up loose ends for everybody. Like show business, like no business I know. Everything about it is appealing. Everything the traffic will allow. And no one would know. And no people like show people. They smile when they are low.
Every move that she makes, one smile.
That one day in the nursing home turned into 9 years dancing with the oldies. And Mary Alice, she never came. No, she liked to take a nap on Wednesday mornings at 10 o'clock. And that was her choice. So I would meet with her afterwards. It was all good. And Gwen, she went on to earn a college degree and get married and compete in the Illinois Special Olympics in wheelchair racing. You should have seen her move in that wheelchair. And in the beginning, I signed up for 8 dance lessons to learn how to become a partner. And since then, Ed and I have taken hundreds of lessons together, and there's no end in sight. I want to repeat the words of Howard Thurman because they're just so important. Don't worry about what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and do that. Because what the world needs are people who have come alive. That's what I'm doing here tonight with this presentation. I think it's a good idea to gather pieces of myself from every age and keep what I want and at the same time not deny aging. I don't want to be 25 again or 40. Oh, I'd love to have a firm chin and neck again, but that's beside the point. I want to embrace being 62, a grandma, a mother, Ed's partner, a friend to all of you, a Broadway star. I want to look forward to doing what I need to do from now until then. I remember friends of mine being inspired by friends who were in their 80s and 90s. And I'd say, I want to be like them when I get older. Well, I am older. And if I want to be like what I saw in them, then I need to do it now. Not think about it and say I'll do it later. We are not promised the later. So with my grandson Henry, who's now 18 months old, who shows me how fast time goes. So let's stop looking in the rearview mirror every minute and look straight ahead. And let's watch for signs so we can see where we want to go. Let's all take the next steps that are right in front of us with hope and courage. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for being here tonight, being part of my dream.